Alright, there it goes. Sorry. Had a bit of trouble getting it going. Howdy everyone. Welcome to our second live stream. Today we are taking a look at, I'm looking to upgrade or buy a new HF radio. And so I've kind of narrowed down the list to a few of them. Alright, there it goes. Sorry. Had a trouble. So first of all, I want to go ahead and make sure everybody knows I got the coffee. We're good to go. I got the backup coffee. So I've got two of them. Tight. Okay, so a couple things first. Got a couple goodies in the mail today. It's like Christmas via Amazon. So let's take a quick look at what some of those things are here. Because, well, I like to brag. Alright, so this came, which I'm excited about. It's the Nano VNA. Still have to buy some adapters and whatnot for it, but that's alright because it's here. You can see I have not even peeled off the screen protector, so we'll do that with y'all now just because I know everybody loves it. Yeah, that beautiful feeling right there. That came today, and these came today. Now, actually, I had a pair of crimpers before, and in fact, they're over here. They're from years and years and years ago when I used to install computer networks. And at a Hamfest not too long ago, I bought some new jaws for them. But you can see they don't really open back up. To get them to open back up, you have to kind of, risk your finger, shove it in there, and just overall wasn't very happy with them. So I picked up these guys. These are the iWis brand. And they, proper power pole crimps. Booyah! And they open and close nicely. They've got the little holder thing on the other side there, which I found not having that is a serious pain in the butt. So, and I also got spool of wire, which I don't remember what I paid for that, but it was remarkably cheaper than I expected. So, because here shortly we are finally getting around to power polling everything here in the station. I got the first one of those, and I'll get a second one for the POTA stuff. Speaking of POTA, that is one of the things that with my new radio choice, I kind of want to, let me get this screen swapped back out. I kind of want to be able to do with the radio. So, everybody always says instantly go with the 7300, go with the 7300. And don't get me wrong, I love the 7300, but I've got notes. Okay, and so what I want to do tonight is actually use y'all as sort of a sounding board and get y'all's feedback and ideas on radios and whatnot. So the radios I've got it narrowed down to, it's the 7300, the ICOM's IC7300, the Yaesu 891, and the Yaesu 991. The Yaesu radios, well, they're Yaesu. I can't say that I'm disappointed with many of my past Yaesus, but then again, I do have a very dead 897 sitting right there. So take that for what it's worth. 7300 and 891, get both. I'm having fun trying to slip one past the wife. We'll see how two goes. So, alright, so I got some quick little specs on the radios, and I just grabbed those from DX Engineering just because I could. And, looking at the 891, I think, is that where I am first? Yeah, looking at the 891, obviously it's the most potable radio. That's not a real word, but it is now. I christened it, therefore it is. But no, Steve, we'll spend your money if you want, but that 891, as far as dimensions, isn't a whole lot bigger than that Nano VNA box. Yeah, it's twice the thickness, but compared to what I'm toting around now, that's an itty bitty radio. So, there are some drawbacks to it. Like, for example, it doesn't have a tuner with it, which, okay, not a huge deal because, I try to do dipoles that are resonant, but every now and then things get kind of cafarfled, and I might want to tune up, somebody's chain link fence or something. But there is no sound card in it, which obviously if I'm going to do digital stuff, I do have a signal link I can take with me. But, that's just another thing I want to pack. And the whole point is I don't want to, pack everything. Yep. Okay. Yeah, Mike, that's my word now. So if you use it, you have to make sure, you give credit. No, and I didn't mean potable like potable water. Potable. You got to have the up in there. But yeah, the 891's only $580. I mean, that's pretty stinking cheap. So, waterfall though, I've seen a few people's things with their waterfall on it, and from what I've seen, it's not exactly anything to write home about. I don't know if y'all have. Those of you who have one, let me know what you think about the waterfall, because to me, kind of the whole point of a waterfall is being able to kind of watch it live. And from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can't really watch it live. It's like a push to refresh thing or something like that. Is that right, those of you who have one? Or so, no, and that's the thing. That I do want to be able to take this thing doing POTA, but also I'm going to use this radio with my kids at school. So I'll sometimes lug it back and forth. One for me, one for my kid, yeah. But I want to be able to use it at school, and whether we like it or not, I teach middle school, and the fact of the matter is they not only want high tech, it's got to look high tech. And some of the radios out there still kind of look like they're vintage 1997-ish stuff like that. I mean, they don't look all that different from my old Yaesu FT 5100 dual bander. But yeah, I know I don't really need the waterfall for POTA, but for other stuff, well, yeah, Steve, it's going to be a school radio and a POTA radio and stuff like that. That's what I was wondering, is the 891 is more quote unquote durable, but I'm not sure the kids are going to really dig it, which kind of took me to the 7300 and the 991. So, the 7300, obviously everybody's, screaming and yelling, just get the 7300, end of discussion. And there's a lot to the 7300, but I mean that literally and figuratively. I mean, that bad boy is like 9.5 pounds. So, most of my POTA stuff, it's, from my camper, or we drive to the park, and I park within 100 feet of where I operate. So, 3D printed rails from Thingiverse. Yeah, I've got a 3D printer. I could do that. But, and if I do end up wanting to go farther, once I get, a smaller, more manageable battery and stuff like that, then I want to be able to do that. So that makes a difference. That the 7300 is 5 pounds more than the 891, and it's several inches on each dimension bigger also. I've taken my 7300 potable. That's one of the things I was going to ask, Mike. You said the Harbor Freight case. So, how well does it actually fit into the wannabe Pelican case from Harbor Freight? So, it's one of those, I feel pretty comfortable with it if I can have it in something like that. If I have it in my LA police gear backpack, I feel less than comfortable with it, just because it's not padded and everything in there. So, but I'm not sure with those dimensions, can you get that and everything you need in one case, or are you still toting a backpack and that? So, hang tight. It's time for the black gold. Okay, and if we're talking soda, that'd be something. Yeah, and that's while I don't do soda because there's only one summit here in Mississippi, and I'm not sure how they call it a summit. It's something like 72 feet high. But it's if I did end up wanting to take something and do some soda with it, which now that I'm no longer Peg Leg Steve, I can actually do some of that maybe. So yeah, send me that pic, Mike. But that way, I'm not lugging everything up there. So it's definitely the backpack and the 7300, which that's not a huge deal. I mean, I do have a child, so I'm all about some child labor there. The other thing is the number of antenna connections on the back. Both the 891 and the 7300 only have one, which I guess I could just buy a switch and overcome that. But at the same time, the 991 has two of them in there, and it's all band, which realistically I'm not sure that makes a huge difference to me. 2 meters and 440, I'm not sure that's something that I care a whole bunch about having or not. Excuse me. So is the 3800 the biggest Apache case? Is that? And so, I mean, if it fits in there, that helps answer that question, because that's one of the things that I've been kicking around is you hate to spend $1,000 on. I won't say how much it is because my wife's in the other room. You hate to spend $42 on a radio and have it break, just because it doesn't quite fit in a case. So if it fits in that Pelican or that Harbor Freight Apache case, I'm a lot more comfortable with. We kind of have, answering Steve's question as far as ham boosters with the school, we kind of have, I wouldn't call them ham boosters. I get a small fee from some of the kids at the beginning of the year. The problem here is I don't know that I really want to. Hey, Hoda Gamer, ¿cómo estás, amigo? I don't want to necessarily buy this with school money because it's something I'm going to use personally as well. Whereas, I'm going to use some of that money to buy some more Anytones for DMR because the kids love the DMR. So if I'm going to use that, I'll get some Anytone radios for that, or mess around with maybe getting a Yaesu or something. I've got the hotspot. I can make it work on Fusion or D-Star, and I've been wanting to mess around with D-Star anyway, just because. So, Benny's dead. I'm good, my friend. Good to see you. Yeah, Hoda Gamer's he's over in Spain, and he's the reason I made that video that was English and half Spanish on how to make a code plug for, I forget, it's one of those Redifus radios, and he didn't torture me too much about my bad Spanish, so it's I'm gracious for that. And the other option is I guess I could just keep the Kenwood. I have that Kenwood TS480, which I like. I mean, it's a good radio. The problem with it is, it's big, and when you pull up, when you pull up their dimensions and stuff on it, it says it's 7 inches wide, 2 3/4 inches high, and for all practical purposes, 11 inches deep. That doesn't take in the account of the stupid head unit. That radio, you can't attach the head to the radio, and so it's got to be separate. So you've got to take that into account, and the whole head unit, which, while not huge, it's still something else you have to pack. So, like as it is right now, I load the radio into that backpack. Then I have to put this into like it's like a little lunch cooler kind of thing. So, quoting cases of beer depends on the kind of beer. Some of us don't drink pea water, and then Smoking Ape, his beer is a little cheaper. But anyway, what I was saying is I don't want. That's just a lot of stuff to unhook. I mean, you've got cords and all that other stuff going from the radio to the head unit and whatnot, and it just gets to be a pain in the butt. So I could keep that. Be a lot easier, especially now that I'm going to, power pole the whole shack and everything finally, to just unplug it and go. But I'm just tired of it. It's a great radio here at the house, or I could use it other places, but I'm just tired of lugging that thing around for POTA. And ever since Mike gave me a hard time about I haul way too much crap, that's just adds to the crap. But this is the same thing with the 7300. It's 9 pounds. It's for all intents and what's this thing weigh? I mean, that 7300 still another pound heavier than what I'm carrying around now. 891 and antenna fits in my LA police gear bag. What bag is it you have, T.O.? Because I've got the one I've got. It's a pretty big bag. Honestly, I could probably fit the 891 and antenna and my wife's stupid dog in there and still have room. And yeah, I could get a small battery in there too, especially if I don't have to carry around. Where's that lunchbox thing that this is the lunchbox thing that I have to pack just for the head unit and all the cables and stuff that go with that 480. So, looking at that compared to my head sized, I can get a lot of battery in that size. So I'm thinking if I can get a radio like, if the 7300, whatever. Yeah, I know I'm 6'6", but you don't want to call me peg leg, bro. So, but, ¿Qué hora es en los Estados Unidos? Son las 7:15, but anyhow, so anybody here use the 991? I mean, there's a lot of 7300 fans, several 891 fans, but I can't, when you look at the reviews, obviously the people are, I love the 991 but there's like 8 of the reviews there. So looking at that one, and this one is actually the most expensive of the 3, because we all know that the Icon we can get on sale. They'll have another special here at some time. But this is their special here for $1,100, and it's back ordered for a week or 2. So, well, it kind of is a while. That's what different clothes. So that's kind of my thing. Is has anybody ever, or anybody here ever actually used it? What do you think of it? Because obviously I can go down here, and I'm not really interested in reading the fanboy comments. It's like people who love their Mac. If you're a fanboy, you're going to love it no matter what. But, all these guys, are they just the fanboys? I don't know. I'd rather talk to somebody who has actually, played with one and used one. But at the same time, I have a 30 amp hour in a medium ammo box. That's not bad. Okay, that's good to know, Jeeper Creeper. So the screen is that much better on the 7300 than the 991. So I did not realize that, because I'm unfortunate in the fact that I live, I don't know how many hours away from the closest ham radio shop. I mean, I know there's an HRO in Atlanta, and I know there's an HRO in Dallas, but that's 8 hours one way and about 6 hours the other. So you didn't like it as fast as you didn't like your Nano VNA. So, well, that's good to know because, yeah, I figured a lot of people probably buy that for the VHF, UHF, and that's not a thing for me, I guess. I've got a VHF, UHF radio. I'm not interested in doing sideband and all that crap. So, the tuner, like I said, is not really a big deal. Like if I went with the 891, I don't really care that much about the tuner. I mean, realistically, I've got, what is that, Prol 200 or whatever it is, Prol Gang. But I could lug that with it, but then again, it kind of defeats the purpose of a smaller radio when I have to lug a bigger tuner with it. So, the power draw from what I see on all of them is pretty close to the same. Is that Mike's kind of the battery POTA expert there between Mike and Abe. There's got to be an answer here somewhere on the is that little bit of amp draw. Like for example, the 891 draws 23, and the 7300 actually draws less. It draws 21. I'm not sure what that mueven. No sé la palabra mueven, amigo. Yeah, but I think I have the 200 though. Yeah, I have the AT200 Pro 2. So, okay, so those two amps, Mike, how big of a difference is that? So, I mean, is that huge? It's not. It's still 20 plus amps. So, translating into, yeah, it's Prol Gang Jeeper Creeper. We're good with that. It's kind of like the Feng Gang. But, not knowing, I guess I just need to educate myself on battery draw and stuff like that. So, I guess the first time I get out there with a smaller battery and the battery dies, I'll be forced to educate myself a little bit better. So, yeah, it draws. I've got that. Yeah, the 891 draws 2 amps. I think it says on receive. Yeah, but it's the same. It's the trade-off. Is the weight worth it? I mean, yeah, the 891 smaller, but okay, that's good to know. You can't go by that because it's 12 to 13 amp hours. KX2, yeah, that actually I didn't even look at that, but well, that's one of them that, as cool of a radio it is, I need that draw factor for when I take it to school. I've got, next year I'll have another, I don't know, 40 kids or something I get to teach ham radio to, and that draw of them getting to see something that's, it's whiz bang cool looking. Yeah, KX2. I don't even know what the price is. I didn't even look at it. But not that I wouldn't love one, but I don't think that's where I'm going right now. So, well, and yeah, that's the other thing is it's QRP. So, yes, it's no big deal. That 0.1 amp difference there. So I'm guessing I'll likely end up with the 7300. I'm just gonna wait until the sale ends up. I've got the Patreon link down below. Hope then I'm going to use that money to help fund that kind of stuff for school. So and yeah, the radio I'm using now, that Kenwood's got the smallest amp draw of any of it. It's it's only sitting at 20.5 amps. So bring up the spreadsheet. You know what? That's the answer is it's for the kids. They want the 70. And yeah, that's kind of where I keep ending up, which it's well, yeah, I'm gonna use it and I'm gonna have it here, the reality is I want to use it to draw other folks in, and those kids need that whiz bang cool factor. So I like them both. I've heard good things about the receiver. Yeah, I've heard really good things about the receiver in the 891. Hey, Kev, man, I appreciate that. Thank you for that super chat. That's actually the first super chat I've ever gotten. Score. Thank you. The 705, just in time for, I don't know. We're all coroned up. It may be the 2023 school year. But yeah, the receiver, that's the thing is I keep hearing that the DSP and stuff like that on that 891 is just awesome. And then I do see the occasional comment where people say things like the 7300 is loud. And I don't know how accurate that is because, hang on, I've got to move on to the other coffee. El modo telegrafía. Estoy aprendiendo el modo de telegrafía. Hold on, gamer. But anyhow, so yeah, I think if it's for the kids, I'm going to end up having to go with the 7300. So unless there's another radio out there I hadn't thought of that y'all know of, anybody have any other ones that are whiz bang cool like that, throw it in the chat because, I'm at that point where, yeah, loud, like people say that it's just noisy. I'm not sure what they mean by it, and I really want to, get my hands on one and play with one, but I don't know anybody around here who's got one, and I'm a good ways away from a store. They're both awesome radios. Trust me, I use both. Okay, that's good to know because a lot of people make it sound like the Asus DNR is actually better, and I don't hate Yaesu or anything. I've just had a couple. Yeah, that's true. Flex radio, but it's not a great portable option. So, that's something to think about though to put at school though. You're right. It's not a great portable option, but that's definitely whiz bangy. Can I get a flex? I don't know if you can get a flex in that range or not. It's flex radio. Oop, where would that buy now button go? Alright, let's just click one. Yeah. I'm not sure which one to click on here. Let's just because it looks cooler. Ouch. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to do a little more shopping around on those. So sticker shock's right. And I am gonna use it as a base rig most of the time. But like I said, I do want to be able to take it POTA sometimes, just because it's one of those, I just get tired of lugging this thing around. Although I guess if I got one for a base rig, I could use it as the base rig most of the time and just use this Kenwood for POTA. But then I'm back to the carrying a lunchbox around thing, and we know how that goes. So anything other than the flex radio that y'all can think of to... Yeah, I saved $200. What percentage is that? Not much. Oh, but then, if you want the Maestro bundle, you got to go ahead and add $1,200 onto that. I shouldn't be talking smack about them because, yeah, we'll just click off of that. I don't need to go there because then I'll end up wanting to buy one, and I definitely can't slip that one by her. Alright, so if nobody else has got any suggestions or anything, no percent, and not much of one anyway, rounds down to 0. I'm guessing I'm probably going to end up going with the 7300. Ideally, you're right, I wouldn't mind having both. AC's DNR is amazing, but that's because there's no other new mobile radio. That's a good point. So, yeah, Jeeper Creeper. Somehow, I don't think they're going to sponsor me. More than willing to talk to you if you want to, but don't think so yet. So, but yeah, it's going to be one of those. Maybe get the 7300 for now, and down the road grab an 891, and go that way. So that way I have both of them. I just have to space them out so that she who's through the door right there doesn't figure it out too quickly. So, but anyway, that's about it. I think AC will come out with a new mobile soon. So I keep, everybody's been telling me just get the 7300, get the 7300. I'm just one of those, it's hard to buy a radio without getting to go twist knobs and mess with it and stuff. So, that's kind of I guess the downfall is to spend that much cash on something that Kenwood will make something soon. We'll see. But spend that much cash on something that I can't tinker with and mess with. I do have a question. I was looking, those of you who have a 7300, in fact, I've got it here on my notes. It said in the specs that it does something called enforced tuning, and only use it for emergency stuff. What in the world is that enforced tuning? Anybody out there in the chat actually have a clue? So, and I was skimming through this stuff right before we got going, and Ape was busy calling me peg leg. Yeah, this is true. I'd have 3 of them by now, but it's I'm not sure what that enforced tuning is. Is that it says something about it may reduce your power or something like that? Yeah, Mike, I asked people in my club, and they don't. I live in a relatively small. It is a university town, Oxford, Mississippi, but it's not. There's not a whole lot of. I mean, our club meetings are normally. Well, before I flooded them with a bunch of kids, our club meetings were, I don't know, 10, 12 folks maybe. And we've gotten several new folks in there recently, but I don't think any of them have a 7300. I'll make sure to ask that in the net Sunday night though. Emergency tuning expands. Okay, so explain to me how that's a bad thing. I mean, it says only use it during emergencies. I can live with 50 watts out if I can, tune a chain link fence. So, Steve watches Cade MRD's channel quite regularly. Thank you. But, I just don't have the cool music like him. Be like, yeah. So, the emergency mode on the singer reduces the power open. So, I mean, so the whole point of them saying emergency mode, what's the point of that? Is that just if it works for 10 to 1, then what's the big deal? I guess is not that there's a whole lot of times I use something that's far that is that far out of whack, but it's one of those. So, well, I might need to tune my bike rack too, TL. You never know. I ran my school bus at 7,000 RPMs once. It didn't make it all the way to school. I want you to use it too often. Yeah, we don't want to risk our biscuits. Hotspot. You got me on that one. My Spanish isn't that solid anyway. I've not had enough coffee, amigo. All right, so that's actually another selling point. Then, if it's not gonna jack anything up, that's if I can do enforced tuning and create my own emergency by having to use a chain link fence, then I may go there. So, no, not really 7,000 RPMs, but I think the tachometer on that thing only goes up to like 5, but it was in the red. I told them something was wrong with the transmission. They didn't listen. Receive only. Talking usually ain't worth the effort anyway. That depends on who you talk to. I find, especially doing POTA stuff, man. I mean, my kiddo and I, we enjoy the talking. She every now and then even gets to talk to T.O.'s daughter up there in Wisconsin. So I just want a 5.9 next. Yeah, I have a tuner in my base radio, but yeah, and I have both hooked up with this Ken because this Kenwood's the typical internal thing, and so it'll do 3-to-1, and the antenna hanging outside is a G5 RV, and sometimes it works and sometimes not. It's kind of like, Almond Joy and Mount. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. So, all right, y'all. Well, I appreciate it. I think I'm gonna probably land with the 7300 because, like I said, I can get it for $42, and see if we can't make that work. Because, like I said, the biggest thing is I want it to be whiz bang cool for the kids. So, but that's about it, guys. Any questions or anything, after this drops, comment below. If you haven't already, I would appreciate hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I do have an Amazon link down below for all of the stuff we have in the shack, including that cool Nano VNA that Mike doesn't like. And the Patreon link is down there too. So, but that's it. Y'all take care, and I hope to